Welcome to this briefing that will review the past winter season and provide a look into our weather concerns for this spring. My name is Mark O'Malley, and I'm a forecaster and climate specialist at the National Weather Service in Phoenix. We generally define the meteorological winter season as the months of December, January, and February. However, today we're going to look at a longer time period. This time frame, beginning in October, is defined as the water year. This is the critical time when snowfall accumulates over the mountainous terrain of the western United States and provides water for streams and reservoirs. This past year, regardless of the time frame that we look at, the overall weather pattern for much of the past winter was fairly stagnant, and the statistics provided for either the 3-month meteorological season or the 6-month water year season are nearly identical. In this graphic, we see the 6-month temperature departures from average across the United States. Much of the western United States were warmer than average, with the core of the largest anomalies centered over Arizona and Southern California. Meanwhile, over the Midwest, due to persistent northwest flow pattern throughout the winter bringing cold air south from Canada, the temperatures were unusually cold. When looking at historical rankings for temperatures over the long-term period of record, that is over the past 119 years, this past winter was ranked as one of the top 10 warmest winters on record across the southwest United States. In fact, the Southern California coast area, including San Diego and Los Angeles, ranked as the warmest winter ever on record. In stark contrast, much of the center of the country experienced one of the top 10 coldest winters on record, with some of the upper Midwest only warmer than the very coldest winters of the late 70s. Rain and snow this past winter were very scarce across the western United States, as well as much of the remainder of the southern tier of states. Most notable was the precipitation deficits along the immediate west coasts of California, Oregon, and Washington. These areas typically receive much of their annual rainfall during these past 6 months, with the summer season much drier. Even though central Arizona, where mountains normally accumulate decent rain and snow during the winter, this past season saw large deficits. Not surprisingly, when considering the large deficits seen in the past graphic, much of the western United States ranked in the below normal category for the past 6 months. Almost all of California fell into one of the top 5 driest water years on record to date. 2 particularly wet weather systems at the end of November and the beginning of March kept much of Arizona from falling into the top 10 driest seasons on record. With the lack of storm systems crossing Arizona this past winter, and the storms that did affect the region having relatively high freezing levels, snowfall over the higher terrain of northern and eastern Arizona has been extremely low. This graph compares the snow water equivalent from this year, that's the green line here, to levels of both 2013 and 2012, the red and the teal lines, as well as the historic averages and median values, the blue and purple lines. The water encapsulated in the winter season snowfall is used to replenish reservoirs during the spring, and this year has been especially poor, only reaching up to about 30% at best. In fact, looking at snow in Flagstaff, this year was the 11th lowest snow accumulation on record through the end of March. This is not a good sign for drought across the state and for the upcoming fire season. With the growing deficits of rain and snow over the past 6 months, drought measures have steadily grown. After a mostly active and beneficial 2013 monsoon season, with large areas of ample rainfall helping alleviate drought in southeast California and Arizona, the dry weather so far this year has acted to eliminate much of those prior benefits. With the next 2 months typically very hot and dry, drought measures will only likely worsen before we enter the monsoon season. Probably the most concerning part about the recent dry weather is the potential for an extremely active fire season this spring. The plentiful rainfall last summer allowed substantial growth of grasses and shrubs. However, now this dense growth has dried out, and this would become the fuel for any fires that start in the next couple months. In addition, with the lack of snow cover and ground drying out even at the higher elevations, the fire season may start much earlier for many locations across the state. Given this enhanced risk, please be careful with activities that could create wildfires. Sparks from machinery, hot car exhaust pipes, and untended campfires have caused large wildfires in Arizona in the past. These human-caused fires are preventable. Thank you for viewing this briefing. You can follow the National Weather Service Facebook on the address given above. We have a Twitter account, and you're watching this on our YouTube account. Of course, please visit our website for all the latest forecasts, outlooks, and warnings.